So in a Forbes article, it said after 6 years of college, on average, about 41% of those students end up dropping out. In my opinion, I do believe those are the smart people. While having to deal with student loans, trying to find a job after college, and figuring out what you're going to do with your necessary or unnecessary education is always going to be a problem. Unless a student goes into college with a set plan and knows exactly what they're going to do, college is most likely going to fail them. In my personal opinion, I have an older brother who goes to Clemson, and he is a junior, and he is studying pre-vet, but it's most likely he's not even going to get into vet school, so he's wasted 3 years of his life studying something he's not even going to be able to go into later on in life. In a Forbes article, it said about 42.8 million people in the U.S. are still dealing with student loan, and out of 112 million people from ages 18 to 44 that live in the U.S., 44.2 million of those people are dealing with student debt, and that's 40%. And the repayment term of that student loan is from 5 to 15 years, and while you're still while having to pay that off, you're also going to have to deal with paying for your mortgage, taking your kids to school, a house, and all of your car payments. 15% of graduate and professional graduate students are still dealing with their student loans, and they're left with a 6-figure student loan once they graduate. Just because you spend extra money on going to a nicer college, it doesn't mean you're going to have any advantages in getting into a better job. It's most likely that when you do get out of college, you're not going to have a job that even has to do anything with your profession. And from an NCES article, it said most jobs that student graduates get use nothing that they've learned in college. And less than 10% of college graduates went through internships, so when they do graduate, they're left with no experience of what they're going to do when they do graduate. And if the graduate does find a job, once they graduate that has to do anything with their degree, it's most likely that they're not going to get paid anymore. From a Real Clear Policy article, it says 1 in 5 graduates are still in a job that has nothing to do with their degree a decade after they graduate. And 59% of 4-year college students graduated from college, and the rest of them either dropped out or didn't come back after a year because they decided that it was going to be better that they figure out what they want to do first. Instead of working a job to help pay off loans, students are hit with it right after graduation because they're left with no time during college to actually work. And there's no guarantee that you're going to be paid any extra from having a college degree or not. The idea of student loans, finding a job after college, and figuring out what you want to do with your unnecessary education, you might say, it just proves that college is setting up students to fail. Just look at Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and Mark Zuckerberg. Instead of wasting their 20s in lectures and learning things that they're not going to use in the real world, they decided to not go to college at all and figure out what they want to do and use their time worthwhile.